Wife demanded a divorce after our first time in bed went wrong, claims I'm impotent. Hey Reddit. It all started with a simple, yet highly anticipated, moment, the first time my wife and I were supposed to be intimate after our wedding. That's when it all went wrong. That's when my entire world shattered. We met a few years ago, and everything seemed perfect from the start. She was stunning, confident, and had a way of making me feel like I was the only person in the world who mattered to her. We spent countless hours together, talking about our dreams, our future, and everything in between. She was the one. I was sure of it. After dating for over a year, I finally proposed, and she said yes, glowing with happiness. The wedding was beautiful, and for a while, I genuinely believed that I had everything I had ever wanted. We had agreed to wait until marriage for intimacy, which, in hindsight, might have been a decision based more on her wishes than mine. I respected it, though, and I thought it was the right thing to do. After all, this was supposed to be special. We were building something for the future. So, when our wedding night finally arrived, I couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement, nerves, and, yes, pressure. I wanted it to be perfect. I wanted to prove to her that our patience was worth it, that our connection was deeper than just the physical aspect. But the moment we tried to be intimate, everything came crashing down. I don't know what happened. Maybe it was the pressure of wanting to live up to her expectations. Maybe it was my own nerves. But I couldn't perform. No matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't. I could see the disappointment in her eyes almost immediately, and it was crushing. She didn't say much at first, but the silence spoke volumes. I could feel her pulling away from me, both physically and emotionally. I tried to laugh it off. I made some joke about how it happens to everyone, but she didn't respond. She didn't laugh. She just turned over, facing the other direction, the coldness in the air palpable. It was the first time I had ever felt truly alone with her in the same room. The next morning, things were awkward, but I didn't expect what came next. By the evening, she sat me down, her face a mixture of frustration and disbelief. She told me that she couldn't be with someone who couldn't satisfy her. She told me I was weak and that this failure was a deal-breaker for her. My heart sank. I begged her to give me another chance, to understand that it wasn't permanent, that I could fix it. But she was adamant. She told me that she couldn't stay in a marriage with someone who was broken. I was stunned. It felt like I had been punched in the gut. It got worse from there. Over the following days, she became more distant, less engaged. She told me she had no interest in working through it. She started packing her things, and within a week, she was gone. The woman I had married, the woman I had given everything to, walked out without hesitation. And just like that, she demanded that I file for divorce. She didn't want to be the one to do it, she wanted me to be the one to carry that burden. I didn't know how to react. I was numb. I felt like I was suffocating. I had never been through anything like this before. I wanted to understand what went wrong, to fix it, but she wouldn't talk to me. She refused to listen. It was as though I had become a stranger to her. And what hurt the most was how quickly she turned from someone who claimed to love me to someone who could barely look me in the eye. Eventually, I signed the divorce papers. Not because I wanted to, but because she had made it clear that she was done. I filed for divorce, and she seemed almost relieved. I was broken, but she was already moving on. Edit. Since posting this, I've had some time to think about everything, and the more I reflect on it, the angrier I get. I've been so focused on blaming myself, wondering if I was truly inadequate, if I somehow failed her. But now, I see it differently. She didn't want to fix things. She wasn't interested in working through this, in understanding that we were just starting out and that this was a moment, not a defining characteristic. She wanted a reason to leave, and when she got it, she took it without looking back. I've learned that I was never really the problem. I might have failed in that one moment, but that's not what a loving partner does. They don't run at the first sign of difficulty. I can't believe I let her make me feel so worthless over one night. Update. I finally got some closure. After weeks of silence, she reached out to me. At first, I thought it might be a chance for reconciliation, but it wasn't. She wanted to make sure I knew it was really over. She told me that she had been seeing someone else, not physically, but emotionally. Apparently, she had been talking to this guy before we even got married, and she had already started to develop feelings for him. She admitted that our wedding and marriage were, in her mind, a formality, something she felt obligated to do because it was the next logical step in the relationship. But the second things got difficult, she knew she had to go. That crushed me. The woman I had trusted, the woman I had shared my most vulnerable moments with, had already been emotionally attached to someone else while still being married to me. It felt like a betrayal that I can't even begin to process. Another update. I've been talking to some of her friends, trying to piece together what happened, And I'm learning more that just further breaks my heart. Apparently, she had always had doubts about me. Not just about our intimacy, but about me as a person. She told her friends that she had always settled with me, that I was fine for a while, but I was never the one she was really looking for. I didn't know any of this. I thought she loved me, that I was her soulmate, but I was just a placeholder, someone to fill a gap until the real man came along. And now, I'm left here, not knowing who I am anymore. All the confidence I had in myself has been shattered. I feel broken. Final update, I signed the divorce papers today. It's done. I'm done. It wasn't easy, but I realized that this wasn't a marriage to begin with. I wasn't her partner, her equal. I was just a prop in her life, something to make her story seem complete until it wasn't convenient anymore. I don't know if I'll ever fully heal from this, but I do know one thing, she wasn't the right person for me. I can't keep blaming myself for one mistake. I deserve someone who will love me, not abandon me at the first sign of imperfection. I'll move forward, even though it hurts.